it is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session. I am Carlos Navia here for Local Bartending School. We do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, at 6 p.m. Eastern time. You are always welcome to join in. If you follow Local Bartending School on Facebook, there are two links. There's one link if you are already enrolled in Local Bartending School, and it'll take you right into the class. There is another link if you are not a student, and they'll ask you a couple questions, nothing too personal, get a little information from you, and then you'll be able to join into the class. So I have been a bartender for many decades in several different states. I have been working for Local Bartending School for about 8 years now. Do some one-on-ones. You also might recognize me from some of the online videos. So we usually talk about some different things every Wednesday. I will open it up before I begin if there are any questions about anything that anyone would like to ask. Okay, cool. So it is Ash Wednesday. Yesterday was Fat Tuesday. I hope everybody got fat and happy. So for the Catholics, Lent starts today, 40 days of fasting and no debauchery and bad stuff and all that. So it is spring. We're kind of getting into spring here now. And, with the spring weather, as you can see, I'm kind of sweating out here. It's a little warm out here where I live today. But as we get into spring, that also means we are getting into spring break. And, spring break, you have lots of people traveling over the next 5 or 6 weeks, depending on, where the spring break in their area lies. I can remember when it all used to be in 1 week. Everybody just got the week off right before, Easter, and Easter Sunday was kind of the end of it. But, in infinite wisdom to trying to kind of help out tourist places, they spread it over 5 or 6 weeks. So you're busy over several weeks instead of super busy for 1 week where you can't handle it. And it's been, it's kind of worked to the advantage of restaurants, especially in places that are, heavy spring break places like where I lived at in Florida. But it's not just college kids going on spring break. And I love spring break where I live because I live next to a college, and it's a very, very quiet week in my neighborhood, which is awesome for me. To sit in the backyard, I don't hear the hollers from the beer pong and all these surrounding neighborhoods. Great week for me. One of my favorite weeks of the year living here. But a lot of families go out of town too. What you have is a lot of families travel. A lot of families will take that opportunity, kids being out of school, for them to get out of town, and get away. And, the thing is, it's kind of going to be interesting. For the last 2 years, we've been dealing with COVID and kind of cooped up. Where I live now, not only did they lift the mask mandate for vaccinated people, but for everybody. So no one has to wear a mask. Workers don't have to wear masks. Patrons don't have to wear masks, regardless of your vaccination status. So I guess that means we're getting down to, a point where they feel safe, having these things again, having large gatherings, having a lot of people traveling. So, you're really going to see an uprise. I think we're going to have a lot of people that are just itching to go do something now that the restraints have lifted. And if you look at even like Los Angeles and New York, they're talking about, very in the near future, recalling some of their, COVID-19 guidelines and regulations and stuff like that, and pulling back a little bit as well. And, those are the two most populated places in the country. They're going to be the last two to pull back the regulations. So it looks like we're kind of making progress on this. And, maybe, I don't want to jinx it, but this could be the first, step into taking us into that post-COVID era. That we're all kind of hoping to get through it and to get through this. So I'm really hoping things go well this spring break for everybody. Everybody has a good time. We're able to be safe, and we don't see some huge spike in COVID-19 cases that make us have to go back to mask mandate or, different regulations to see different things. Even just to go to a show at the college here, or, a concert at the little local theater we have here, you have to be vaccinated, or you have to show proof of a negative test. Basically the same you'd have to do to get on an airplane just to see a show here. So hoping, with the mask laws and the leniency kind of coming around, that some of those places will ease up and, kind of have the opportunity here for people to get out, have some more fun. So where was I? We're going to go over there. So when spring break comes, once again, you got to be aware of underage people drinking. And it's not just, necessarily the college kids where, there's a 19 or 20-year-old mixed in with some 21, 22-year-olds. But I have seen so many situations where adults will buy drinks for underage kids, if not their own children. And it's pretty common. I see it a lot, number one, with foreigners that are here to visit, because in their country, 18-year-olds are allowed to drink. And they're very used to their 18, 19, 20-year-old having a glass of wine at dinner with them. So, to them, it's nothing. They don't think much about it. In Florida, what I get a lot is people from Texas and Louisiana, where their state laws are a little more lenient on whether or not someone under 21 can have an alcoholic beverage as long as they are with a parent or legal guardian. So they would come to Florida and try to buy their 19-year-olds drinks. And I would say no. And they'd say, but we're from Louisiana. But you're not in Louisiana. You're in Florida. We have different laws. So you see it kind of happen a lot. Be aware of where the drinks are going that you're serving. Okay. You're responsible for where those drinks end up when you serve them. So, if I have someone that's kind of young come up and order 3 drinks, I tell them I need to see 3 IDs and I need to see the people that go with them. Don't come back with just the IDs and not the people. It doesn't work that way. I can't ID anyone if I can't see them. Occasionally I'll do that. Okay, I need 3 people and 3 IDs. And the person will go, it's for my dad. Point, and someone, obviously 21, will wave their hand. Okay, mom and dad, I can see them. I can see they're 21. I know where those drinks are going. That's fine. Otherwise, bring everybody up with you. I need to see it. It's very funny. Early in the day at the last restaurant I worked at in Florida, beautiful view on the beach. A younger couple comes in. There's not much happening. So I see them come in. They get seated at a nice table by the windows. Server comes up and takes their drink order and brings them a couple glasses of water. And then the kid gets up and he comes to the bar and he orders 2 drinks from me. So, obviously flag number 1, there's someone that brings you drinks. You don't have to go to the bar and get them. When you're seated right there at the beautiful beach view, you don't come up to the bar. So I know it's already going to happen. He comes up, he orders 2 drinks. He has his ID in his hand. I say, no, I need to see her ID as well. And this kid flips into a cussing tirade, grabs his girlfriend, drags her out of the place. My boss only sees him cussing me out, dragging his girlfriend out. But another employee watching explains what happened. She's like, good, that's what you're supposed to do. So realize where the drink's going, and make sure you know where the drinks are going. The biggest part about IDing people and making sure that everybody's of the proper age is that you're protecting yourself, not just the business. You can get into trouble. It is a criminal offense and it can come back to haunt you. So you really do want to make sure that you're checking IDs and you're being diligent about it. The other thing I'll say is don't take anyone's word for it. Okay. It has happened to me where I took my bar back's word for it and it turns out he lied for his roommate. If something had happened to that kid after me serving him a beer, I can't say, oh, but he told me. No, that doesn't get me off. I'm still responsible. So make sure that, you're checking the ID, the person's of age. In some states, you're required to have an ID on you just to get into the bar, whether you're 100 years old or not. And in those situations, Arizona has a law kind of like that. In those situations, you ID'd everyone unless you knew that person was 21. 2 ways I know that person is 21. I've ID'd them before, or I know them personally. I know they're 21. So just make sure ID people and be diligent about it. Once again, don't take anyone's word for it. A manager should always have your back. And I say should because there are just crappy people in the world. Unfortunately, in every business, they're going to have some crappy people. I've only had a situation one time where a manager tried to make me serve someone I did not want to. And I straight up told him, if you want to come back here and give him a drink, you come back here and give him a drink, but I will not be responsible for it. And the manager went back to the office and kind of sulked the rest of the night. But no, my call, my decision, I wasn't going to allow that. So remember, it is your call. You are in charge. You are responsible for the alcohol. Make sure you know where it's going and it's going to people that are of age. Won't spend too long on this, but real quick, tips, T.I.P.S. from leading alcohol awareness companies in the United States teaches a 5-step process. I heard it the first time, I think in 1990, some 30 plus years ago when I was 16, and I've never heard a better way since. So make sure you're going through all the points. And real quickly, point number 1, hold the ID in your hand. If someone just flips open their wallet and they've got it in a little holder, make them take it out, hold it in your hand, feel the ID for anomalies. This ID, and it's hard to see on camera. I don't have my hand cam today, but it's got a big bend in it. It's got a big bubble over the picture that I can feel that's obvious. I wouldn't take this ID. It's got a bubble on the picture. It's horrible. Make sure it looks good. If they have it in with a piece of plastic over it, some kids showed me how very, very easily it is to make it look like a different number underneath the plastic by writing stuff on the plastic. I was surprised how easily they did it. So take it out, hold it in your hand. The other thing is, while I'm holding this, I get a real good feel for the person standing in front of me. And if you're supposed to be there, you're not going to be nervous at all. You're supposed to be there. But if you're not supposed to be there, you might get a little twitchy. Occasionally, someone will start pointing. Birthday's right there. Birthday's right there. Whoa, man. I can read. I'm completely capable of finding the birthday. Anytime they do that, I'm going to hold it longer. It just makes me think, if you're trying to point to something, you're trying to distract me from something. You want me to look quick and get rid of it. So hold it in your hand, get a feel for the person. In a situation like spring break coming up in Florida, if I had 10, 12 college kids, I'm getting all 12 IDs at once. Okay. I'm not IDing the first couple and then that ID makes it to someone else. No, I want to see every single one of your IDs. I'll shuffle them like cards. Who's Sarah? Okay, over here. Who's Jim? I'll go through them all. So, hold it in your hand. That's point number one. Number two, look at the picture. For the love of God. Okay. I can't tell you how many bouncers I've seen take an ID just like that. Thumb over the picture, look at the birthday, hand it back. And it's crazy to me because I've seen it happen so many times. Once again, I live next to a large college, 25,000 students. The Rite Aid by my house, I can't tell you how many times I've seen them do this. You got your ID? Yeah, let me scan the back. And they scan the barcode on the back and they never look at the front of the ID to see if it's the person. Anyone could walk in there half the time with anybody's ID, scan the back, boom, walk out, because they never look at the front. So look at the picture, make sure it's the person. Sometimes it can be tough. In Arizona, your driver's license at 16. If you don't get a ticket, you don't have to renew it till you're 65. So I ID people in their 40s and 50s, pictures of 16-year-old. Use your best judgment. I'd usually throw out a joke. Oh, good thing you grew into that head or something stupid. But, use your best judgment. Make sure it's the person. One time in Palm Springs, which caters to many people that like alternative lifestyles. Me and my friend were working at the Palm Springs Convention Center. It was a party of mostly gentlemen, a couple ladies thrown in there. We'll say we were outside IDing. Everybody has to have ID. A very elegant older woman came up, dressed to the T. We're talking beautiful evening gown, made up wonderfully. She looked like she walked out of 19 Palm Springs and, walked out of downtown Palm Springs in 1957. She handed me her ID. I looked at the ID. It was a man with a beard. And upon closer examination, that was him, dressed up in drag. But you could tell, I could see it matched. Make sure the picture matches. Make sure, it is the person. Third thing to look at, physical description, height, weight, eye color, hair color. I can bleach my hair. I can change my hair. I can get fatter. I can get skinnier. That does happen. I can even change my eye color. But if you look at someone's ID and it says they have brown eyes, and I look up and you have blue eyes, and I go, hey, it says here you have brown eyes. The first words out of your mouth should be, I'm wearing contacts to change my eye color. And nothing else. You put contacts in that morning to change your eye color. So, check all that stuff. Make sure all that stuff matches. So the physical description, that it is the right person, the right height, weight, looks like them, has the right eye color, or once again, first words out of their mouth should be, I'm wearing contacts to change my eye color. Fourth thing to look at, the expiration date. If it is expired, it is not valid. Okay. Especially spring break time, I have had so many folks that were probably, and I'm sure they were 24, 25, 26 years old, scream and cuss at me because I would not take their expired ID. There is kind of a reasoning behind it. older siblings will give their expired IDs to younger siblings, and younger siblings look just like them. It's how I got beer when I was 19 from people that did that. I did not look like my older brother, but there's a reason you can't take them. If it's expired, it is not valid. It is no good. And they're going to go, but it still says I'm 26 years old. No, it doesn't. It has no valid information. It doesn't say anything to me because it's not valid. This expired in 2019. So I can't drive with this. I can't fly with this, and I can't buy alcohol with it. It's not good for anything except teaching classes at local bartending school, and that's why I hold on. So if it's expired, you cannot take it. Here's my attitude on it. If you're old enough and mature enough to go to a bar and drink, you're old enough and mature enough to renew your ID on time. And I say that a lot. I did have one student in Texas, middle-aged mom, who said because of COVID, hers was expired, and they wouldn't sell it to her at the grocery store. Wouldn't sell her beer, and she's like, COVID, I couldn't. I'm like, nothing we can do about that. So you need to go take care of it. So yeah, and it's weird at this time of year when you get spring breakers too, that it's like, hey man, you guys planned this trip for months. I'm sure you didn't just throw a backpack into a van last night and decide, let's hit the road for Florida. No, you've been thinking about this for weeks, not paying attention in class. You need your ID, get it renewed. So you can't take it if it's expired. And finally, the fifth and final thing, the birthday. They must be born 21 years from today, which would be 3/2/2021. No, 2001. That was bad. 3/2/2001. You'd be 22 today. So, make sure you kind of know the date. I have seen a friend go into a bar 2 weeks before his birthday, give the bartender his ID. The guy just looked at the year and the month, handed it back, thought who would be that stupid to do such a thing. If getting my words mixed up, the other thing I'll kind of say, only certain IDs we can take a driver's license from any state. Every state also issues a card, looks just like a driver's license, but it's for people who don't drive. Not everybody drives. Passport you can take a military ID. And my wife uses her green card. It's got all the information. It's her United States issued form of identification as a resident alien. You cannot take a foreign driver's license. One reason it's kind of hard to know if they're real. The other thing is it might not have all the information you need, which is a picture, birthday, expiration date, physical description. So it might not have all of that. And once again, if you got into this country legally, you had a passport when you got into this country. It's what you got to use as your ID in this country. You can't use your foreign driver's license. So you can't accept that. Once again, I say be diligent about it. Remember that you really are protecting yourself, when it comes down to IDing people. The other thing that's kind of come up, well, not even recently, in the last 20 years, that makes it kind of difficult is right now, any 15, 16, 17-year-old can take a picture of themselves on their iPhone, send that picture and $100 to China, and they get back two IDs that look just like this. And they swipe and the barcode scan. So it is very tough, and it is becoming very tough. I know a lot of Eastern states have gone to a newer, like Northeastern states have gone to a newer ID where the bottom corner is clear and has a picture of your face, like a hologram face in there. That's specifically to try to stop counterfeiting. That's all that it's about, is they're just coming up with new measures, making it harder for Chinese to make counterfeits that match them. To the best of my knowledge, the ones with the little window and your face in the window, New York, I think Pennsylvania and other states around there have them. To the best of my knowledge, those have not been duplicated yet. So those should be pretty good. Those should not be fake. As far as like my California one, once again, even 15 years ago, the barcodes would swipe. Now I know, these scan. There's a couple things, a couple tells on there. One that I thought was funny that one of the checkers at the local Ralph's grocery store here hit me up on. It caught me on. I saw the kid. He was doing it right. Don't just buy beer, have a bunch of other groceries, throw in a 12 pack. All right. So I'm ready just watching him in line behind him because I think this is all hilarious. I'm going to watch it go down. He opens his wallet. I can see his ID in his wallet in that little thing. And it's straight up and down, meaning he's not 21. I could see it when you open your wallet. I see him reach way to the back and grab something from the back. Like, that's always one of my biggest tells. Your real ID is not in the back of your wallet ever. It's not the last thing in there. It's always in the front. It's usually in that little displayed part. So he tipped me off right there. The girl took one look at it and knew immediately, though. And what she asked him to do was sign his name. She's like, sign your name. And I couldn't figure it out, so I had to ask her. Finally, he's like, you're going to keep it? She's like, are you going to admit it's fake? And he said, yeah, it's fake. And she goes, okay, here, you can have it back. And gave it back to him, which technically you're not supposed to take it. It's a novelty. It's their property. You're not supposed to take it away anyway. But I was asking her, when you're sending something in on your computer and you're signing with your finger on your little scroll pad, it does not look the same as when you sign at the DMV on that little pen pad. Okay, that's your real signature, like you would do it with a pen. It looks completely different if you do it with your finger on the computer, and it's real easy to see that it's been done on the computer with someone's finger, because I can see mine right there, and it looks perfect. It's real easy to see that it's been done on the computer with your finger, and not with a pen on a scroll pad like that. So I thought that was pretty funny, because that's what she caught. That was the first thing she caught. I caught him opening his wallet because I could see his real ID in there. But the biggest tell on these is that they all have some sort of little hologram or watermark in there. Maybe like Florida's, I know, has the state of Florida, says Florida on it. California says a bear because that's our state animal, and it has the seal of the state of California. So if I look at this, I can see the letters clear as day. It says the Great Seal of the state of California. If I take a fake one and look at it, it's going to have a hologram. I'm going to be able to see it. But if you look closely, the words are illegible. They can kind of duplicate the stamp and the print, but they can't do it perfectly. So it's the biggest tell on fake IDs is that if you look at the holograms in there, they're not going to be crystal clear. The words aren't going to be legible. You won't be able to read them. If they're blurry at all, it is a fake ID. It is not real. It should be crystal clear. You should be able to read everything perfectly. So that's really just one of the biggest tells on the fake IDs, that are coming around. If, you kind of have some question about it, and once again, with the fake IDs, it's harder because if you're smart, you use your real birthday and you just push the years back so that it's easier for you to remember. Because one of the ones they'd always teach us is, if you're good with astrological signs, you can ask them what their astrological sign is. I'm a Pisces. If I look and I see you're a Pisces and I got a question, I'll throw out something else. Oh, you're a Capricorn or something like that. Little brother got one taken once when they asked him what year he graduated high school. And he kind of stumped on that one. Ooh, it was his answer. And he lost on that one. This bar, we tried to go too big. It was a nightclub in Scottsdale. The bouncer had a whole list of questions and knew it wasn't him. So we did not. So there's things like that. You can always ask them to see something else with their name on it. Everybody today has an ATM card in their pocket that should have the same name that's on their ID. Even though that's not a legal form, something else with the person's name on it, just to make sure it's them. And if you're not comfortable and you don't feel like it's them, or you're not sure it's real, don't serve them. Error on the side of caution. It's just better to not get in trouble, to not do something wrong, to not put yourself, in that position where you could get into trouble, and just don't serve people. Sorry, I'm just not comfortable with it, and I'm not going to do it. And, that's the easiest way to do it. Most people take it pretty good. Like I said, most people take it pretty good, like being cut off. Of course, not everybody. Like I said, I've been cussed at so many times over this issue. But we want everybody to have fun, have a good spring break, be able to come back next year, spend more money, that kind of being the idea about it. So we are getting into spring. I can hear the birds chirping, taste kind of changing. We'll start to get into some different spring cocktails this week and next week. And then we got St. Patty's Day coming up very, very soon here. God, it feels like we just had Super Rookie Night on New Year's Eve. But the other Super Rookie Night of the year, St. Patty's Day, will come up. I have asked, there's a tradition in my town of the college kids dressing up very elaborately and lining the streets at 5:30 a.m. waiting for the bars to open at 6. So we'll see if that goes down. The last 2 years, COVID hasn't had that tradition. I'd love to get some videotape of it. Got videotape of a SUV engulfed in flames on the 101 freeway today. That was interesting. Maybe I'll get some video of that. So we're going to talk about that and spring break, and then and St. Patrick's Day. And then on St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to Belize for a week, and I will be on vacation. I will see you as well. So I was looking at some different stuff, and I kind of knew definitely something with some herbs, because fresh herbs growing and stuff in the garden. We need some kind of herby cocktail to start off here and give us a good start here. So like I feel happens every time I go to look up different recipes, Saint Germain is in there. Saint Germain has become so popular, and I think they're just making more and more recipes. It's only been around since I think about 2006, 2007. But elderflower liqueur, they take the essence of elderflowers. So if we want to make a little cocktail with that, and I've got some rosemary here from my garden that I'm going to throw a couple sprigs in there and get a little rosemary going here. I'm just going to give it a little mash. Just want to break up the little oils in the rosemary and get a little of the essence out there. I don't really have to grind it up and any pieces or anything like that. There we go. All right. So go ahead and throw some ice in here, get this going. And then going to go with our what kind of looks like our Saint Germain elderflower liqueur here. And once again, this is just colored water. We're not wasting any alcohol doing anything real out here. So I'm going to do about 3/4 of an ounce, 2, 3 of our Saint Germain. And then we do 3/4 of an ounce of gin. You get a nice floral gin. There's some really good ones out there, and what they're calling now Western style gins, which means they're very low juniper or no juniper. So they don't have that kind of pininess like Tanqueray or your London dry gins. So you get a nice floral gin, about 3/4 of an ounce of that as well. Put that in there. Go ahead and pop this in. Get a nice shake. Get that nice mixed up. There we go. There we go. So got a little essence of the basil in there, a little elderflower, a little floral gin. We're going to go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and double strain this so that I don't get any parts of that rosemary in there. And a little champagne flute like that. Please don't do what I see people do on videos a lot, which is take this and jam it into the screen to mash stuff down. The bottom of this is not sanitary, you've been holding on to it. If you really need to do that, grab a masher, grab your bar spoon, grab something that's clean to go down in there, not the bottom of it. Throw that stuff out. And then I'm just going to top it off with some club soda. And you could use some sparkling wine, some Prosecco or some Cava or some champagne or something like that. Give it some bubbles in there. And I'm going to give it a sprig of rosemary here to garnish it. Drop that right in there. And then I'm also, what else do I got? I'm also going to throw a little rose petal in here. Just like that. So it's got a little rose to it. So got a little elderflower and rosemary spritzer here. With a little rose petal in there and a little sprig of basil on the top. Light, refreshing. You could do it with some, some different herbs that you get from the garden. Work pretty good. That's just what I have in my garden. But it's I shouldn't say it's a new trend. It's been a trend for a couple of years now, but it's going to continue to grow. Fresh herbs and now roots in cocktails. I think is going to continue to be a growing trend as we move on here. Easy, fun summer cocktails that everybody loves and that are easy to do are kind of, I put these all together because they all have something in common with them. And that's that they all have vodka cream. So if we start with just, a tall glass, like our Collins glass, like this, and we go ahead and do 1.5 ounces here of our vodka. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and dump it in there. All right. Where's my? I'm gonna fill it up just about halfway with grapefruit juice. Just like that. So we got our vodka, we got our cranberry juice. Now, from here, I can do a lot of things. If I fill it up with orange juice from here, it's a Madras. If I fill it up with grapefruit juice from here, it's a Sea Breeze. If I fill it up with pineapple juice from here, it's a Bay Breeze. All really good, all cool red colored, all just fruity. It just depends on what you're kind of putting in there to balance out the tartness of the cranberry juice. Pineapple one's going to be a little sweeter. Grapefruit one's going to be a little more on the sour side. Orange one's kind of in between. But a great summer cocktail that's kind of, a little combination there. We got our vodka, we got our cranberry. If we did 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps in there with our vodka cranberry, and then we added orange juice, so it's just a Madras with 1/2 ounce of peach schnapps, we have our Sex on the Beach. Beautiful color. We can give it a quick little mix. Beautiful red color, nice fruity taste. Looks great, tastes great. Throw a cherry in here to garnish it. I believe the local bartending school book also says add pineapple juice. That's fine if you want to do it. Still going to give it a little more flavor. Still going to taste good. Still going to be a delicious drink. But nothing better. Nice hot spring day. Nice fruity cocktail. Sex on the beach. Perfect for summer weather, spring weather, and getting into this time of the year. And a fun, colorful name. So, stupid song by one of the Jonas Brothers called Cake by the Ocean. It was because their producers were from Sweden and kept mispronouncing the phrase sex on the beach. They kept saying cake by the ocean. So side note on sex on the beach. Anyway, as I move along. So Saint Germain, like I said, everybody loves Saint Germain. I've seen Saint Germain in so many things and so many recipes, but I think this one's kind of light and refreshing, a little spin. A Saint Germain spritzer. We're going to use a little Saint Germain here. I'm actually going to do this one. We'll do this one a little like this one. We'll give it a little chill. So, going to throw some ice into here. And we're going to go ahead and do about 1 ounce of our Saint Germain here. There we go. And then we go with some Campari, and that's about the right color. Campari, is an Italian aperitivo is what they call it. You taste some different herbs, roots, kind of bitter fruit is what Campari tastes like. A lot of people drink Campari and soda with an orange. So you've got the kind of lightness of the elderflower liqueur here and a little bit of that kind of bitter fruit pit from the Campari. We're going to shake it then. I don't know what I did with my spoon. Give it a little underhanded shake. Get that mixed up in there. Go ahead and strain that over some fresh ice here into my Collins glass. There we go. There we go. Nice red color. And just top that off with a little club soda as well. A little elderflower liqueur and Campari spritzer. We'll throw a cherry in that one as well. Nice refreshing drink, great for a nice spring day. There we go. Okay, in there, nice little color to it. And Saint Germain's the brand name. There are other companies that do make get the right words out, elderflower liqueur. I have seen like Bowls, BOLS makes their version of it, makes their knockoff. I wouldn't be surprised if the Kuiper has a knockoff of it as well. It happens. So elderflower liqueur, you know, same thing, St. Germain's elderflower liqueur. What did I do one more of these? All right, go with this one. Got some fruit in the bag. So, live here in California. We get some nice fresh fruit. What I've got here is a ruby red grapefruit that before I cut it, we're going to take a twist off it before I cut it in half. And there we go. And squeeze it. But we're going to get some nice fresh juice here from this ruby red grapefruit in my little juicer. There we go. So I got some fresh ruby red grapefruit juice. So go ahead here in the mixing tin. I'm going to put some ice. Too much, so I can lock my glass in there. All right, I'm going to go with a full shot of gin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An ounce and a half of gin in there. We're going to go with some mint leaves that I probably have here. A couple laying around. Some mint leaves, and I'm just going to give them a little, go ahead and break the oils up in there. So I get that mint essence in there. And we're going to do about an ounce of this ruby red grapefruit juice that I've got fresh squeezed here. There we go. And I'm also going to need some lime juice. What they called this was a ruby red gimlet. So we got our gin in there. We're going to put our lime juice in here that we would regularly put in with our gimlet. Half ounce, once again, half a lemon, half a lime is about half an ounce. Put that in there. Then we're going to do also a little simple syrup, which would also be in our regular gimlet. It's about half an ounce of that in there. All right, and we're ready to get everything there. Ready to go. Give it a nice shake. That nice and mixed up in there. There we go. And we're going to come back with a rocks glass, some fresh ice. Yeah. That's all right, and I am going to double strain this one as well because I've got some mint in there that I want to get out of there. So double strain it. Oh, it's not as ruby red as I thought that juice was going to make it. Unfortunately, it doesn't look as ruby red in the picture, but we'll still give it our ruby red twist here. All the way around, nice squeeze over the top and like that, and take a nice little mint sprig as well. Smack it on the glass there to open the oils. Throw it into our glass. We've got our ruby red gimlet on the rocks. All right, so it's time. All right, so I feel inclined to do one more just for fun because I haven't made anything that looks like a martini today. So I've got to make something that goes in a martini glass. Otherwise, where's the fun? So, can't go wrong. Springtime's coming. Just can't go wrong with a good old cosmopolitan. So I'm going to go ahead and chill my glass out here. My ice. Because I don't have it in the cooler, we're going to go ahead and put some ice in there, put some water in there. Set that off to the side. I'm going to get that cooling off. Grab my handy dandy mixing tin. Get some ice here. Get this wiped off. right, so we need some vodka, do our cosmopolitan. So I'm gonna go ahead and do about an ounce of vodka. Then we're gonna need some orange liqueur as well. So got my Cointreau, do a little orange liqueur in there. I don't have any roses lime juice, but I do have some fresh lime here. So I'm gonna do some fresh lime juice in there. Like that, and then a little bit of simple syrup, and that will in essence have made our roses lime juice there, give it a little sweetness. And then I need some cranberry juice, a little tartness to counteract the sweetness and the sourness, sweetness of the triple sec and the sourness of the lime juice. And you can use citrus vodka. Citrus vodka works great in cosmopolitans. Pop that in, give it a nice little shake. Got nice and mixed up and diluted. All right, throw my ice water out here. Try really hard not to break the glass. And beautiful red color of my Cosmo. A little more comes out. And we need to give it a fun garnish here. So give it a nice full wheel. Garnish like that. Delicious cosmopolitan. Ready for summertime. It looks beautiful. I wish I was making real drinks today. I got more classes to do. 2 weeks I'll be on the beach in Belize. That's all I gotta keep thinking about. So gonna talk, like I said, next week we'll talk a little bit more about spring drinks and some stuff coming up. Then we'll get into St. Patty's Day coming up the next week because St. Patty's Day is on a Thursday. Does anybody have any questions about anything did today or anything else? All right. Well, thank you very much for showing up. Have a great week. Stay safe, and I will see everybody next week. Thank you.